Hey, my wonderful, wonderful people. A pleasant afternoon to you. If you have not yet made Jesus Christ your personal Lord and Savior, please feel free to do so. He's the best being ever. Certainly, that would be the best decision you could ever make. I mean it. All right, listen to me now, beautiful people. So I'm currently listening to the Prime Minister speaking. I only turned it down for a bit because sometimes, honestly, probably lackadaisical in a sense to write down some of the key points that he has made. One of the things I believe in is balance. I'm not one of those people who try to run on an emotional tirade because I am not aligned with a particular party. I'm only going to see everything through the lens of negativity, even when something positive. And he has mentioned some things that I thought were helpful to many of the Jamaican people who are going through a difficult time financially now, where if your electricity has been disconnected for a while, some fees will be waived depending on how long it has been disconnected. But if it has been disconnected for 6 months, he said that they would waive 50% of the cost. You need to go into JP'S and have a conversation with the agents or an agent there. And it can be more, he says. If the time period is longer, go in, talk with them, and I guess they will assess the situation. If he finds that it is due to some leakages or some sort of a malfunction, basically, then maybe, perhaps, I can't recall if he had said that they would waive all the fees or just make you pay a percentage. Maybe that is manageable. All right, which is good, because I know that people are struggling as it relates to paying their electricity bill and having to pay the reconnection fee. Plus, can you imagine when it is when it's compounded over the series of months? It becomes even more tumultuous financially and difficult to pay. So I thought that was good. I was also listening to him. He told Minister Vaz to sit down until he, acknowledges him in terms of whatever number of buses again that will be coming on board. My concern where the buses are, my concern is as it regards the buses is, is it that most of the buses are in the rural area or they're spread across? Because I'm in the urban area, and there are people who will tell me that they get up very early. They leave an hour and a half sometimes, before, long before work. Let's just say work is at 8:30 or 8:30 for the average person. They will leave their homes at 6 o'clock. It's the time has changed. So, it's kind of dark now. You have to wait until maybe a little after 6 before you see a sort of a little light coming up, the dawning, of a new day. Look. And, they will leave 6 o'clock, and even after 7, they have not gotten a bus. So I don't know. Is it that it's concentrated in one area, or it's spread across the entire island? Because I keep hearing about these new buses, and to be honest with you people, I see them very rarely. You will see new, but they're hardly. So I'm wondering if they're more in the rural areas, because with the number of buses that you will see them show, I'm wondering where they are, if they've been eaten by bears. I'm wondering if it's the same 2 she-bears that ate up the buses, that ate up the 42 boys that spoke against Elisha, the man of God. I don't know, but but the Prime Minister said something, Prime Minister, I was a bit disappointed with that comment, because you mentioned about the electricity bill, that, the grid, it will be more expensive when people use the electricity during peak hours, but they have no choice, sir. Most people work between the hours of 8 and 5. I say 8 and 5, whether it's 9 to 6, 8 to 5, 8:30 to 5:30, 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Let's just put it that way, 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock, within that parameter. So it therefore would mean that we're going to have to ask some people, all right, stay home this week. All right, you get an opportunity to use most of us will be at work. So while you're at home, you can do all the things that you need to do that requires electricity, so that your bill will be high. Next week we're going to rotate it. So, it would only mean something like that. We can't avoid that. The peak hour, is usually between 7 and 10 p.m. because a lot of people come home to watch the news, watch whatever it is, sports, and then maybe a movie or some show or comedy or whatever it is afterwards. So you'll find that between, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. it's going to be, crazy. And you can't avoid that because the news is set at a certain time. Even if, although you have it at 10:30, I'm using the TVG, I have the CVM, but I guess they're within the same time period in a sense. Even if one starts at 8, but I'm saying between the hours of 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., we can't avoid it. It's not like the news personnel will say, all right, I'm going to put on the news at 1 o'clock, then 2 o'clock, then 3 o'clock, then 4 o'clock, then 5 o'clock, then 6 o'clock. They can't even do that because sometimes they have to wait until they get the stories, the information, and then they have a set time, which is 7 o'clock, and then they come at 10:30. Even if something new should come on board, they can't say, you know, what can they say? Something they can say, you know, to say Justin. Yes, you know, they can say Justin, some sort of news. But the point that I'm making is that we have no choice but to watch it at a set time so that you can cater to most people, you know. So in other words, people can never avoid having a high bill. We can't say, all right, this sector, or whether private or public, stay home this week or for the next 2 weeks at this time, so that, you know, the grid won't be pressured so much by people using the electricity. Because, you know, once people are home, they're going to be watching TV on their iPads, tablets, social media. It's still going to require some sort of electricity, because they're going to have to, some people charge while using it, which we don't encourage, but they do it nonetheless. It's going to be used, you know. So to say that, you know, people use it at a low peak hour would not be relevant, because it wouldn't benefit us at all, you know. It wouldn't benefit us at all, you know. So yeah, as the Prime Minister says, they're the consummate government, you know. As a consummate government, though, you know, it would be good that the masses can really feel financially blissful. I mean, they probably won't expect to be wealthy human beings, but at least they want to say that, let me be able to go to the supermarket substantially and pick up things without have to putting back 50, 60, 70% of what I take, or having to take up a lot of tin things and keep looking for the cheaper items. You know, they have a saying that the cheapest can become the dearest. You know, in other words, sometimes the cheaper can be so inferior that it creates problems, and you have to now spend more to buy the thing that is superior, you know. So that is what the term really means for those who don't understand. When Jamaicans say something dear, they mean it's expensive, you know. So not like when we say something is near and dear, or dearest or dear, no, you know. It's just a manner of speaking. It's a jargon that is used by many Jamaicans. One of the things that would be so great if the Prime Minister could just, you know, follow his Caribbean counterparts and do something grandiose for the Jamaican people. I've spoken, there are quite a number of vlogs that I've done about help in dealing with the healthcare, education, crime and violence, and so on. And I think we need a cherry on top. Icing, we like the icing sometimes. There are people who like icing and cherry on top. And I'm going to speak about the icing and the cherry on top. It's not just icing, it's a necessary icing to the cake. The cake, a wedding cake, you don't bring a bland wedding cake. You have to put the icing and the man and the woman, whatever it is that you call it, you know, that imagery that they have there, you know. So that is a necessary part of the wedding cake. So in other words, follow your counterparts, Cayman and Guyanese, and give the Jamaican people at least $1,000 US. Can be a one-time thing. Do it. I don't want people come and tell me there is no money. There is. They have not migrated the money, or moved the monies from Earth to another planet. Our dollar can only be traded in Jamaica. I'm talking the Jamaican dollar. Unless somebody burnt it up in the lake of fire, the money did not migrate. The monies are here. Monies are here. Monies are here. Monies are here. Give the Jamaican people for this Christmas. Follow the people. You might not do like what the Cayman president, prime minister, whatever it is they have in Cayman, and do USD $3,000. Although I believe that you can give them at least $1,000. The $20,000 for those who are earning less than $3 million, or here something come up that people who have been working from 1990 whatever to 2000 whenever will get some whatever sort of a rebate. That a monkey money, that monkey money. By them walk out to collect it, done, burn up, holes in them pocket, it drop through the pockets. That can't do nothing. That means nothing. Give back the people at least $1,000 US. you know, this Christmas. That's one thing that you can do as the icing on the cake and the cherry on top. Guys, you know what to do with TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. Have a